Radium Girls. It's a 2018 motion picture. Okay, goes back a few years. Well, because I just got the DVD, that's why. It is about girls who used to be during World War One. Well, maybe I should say, Madame Curie discovered radium out of pitch black, breaking everything down. Wow, this is a new substance, and it can do this. Do X-rays. Wow. Okay, what else can it do? Why, it's a miracle drink. Radium in... Yes! They had radium in as drinking. Tonic. This will cure just about anything. Makes you feel good. Oh, yes. It's like pot, Smoking pot makes you feel good. Yes, it does. What does it do? Gives you lung cancer. Yes, it does. But radium was one of the things. It's like kind of like opium, until they eliminate it. It's all new thing, that thing. It makes you feel good. It can cure things. Really? No. Kill your cancer? Yes. What else does it do? Irradiate your body. And this is what the Radium Girls did. They had something called the American Radio? Was it American Radio? American Radium? I think it was American Radium. Okay. Yeah, American Radium. American Radium would take radium, the stuff that's highly toxic, radiation, what have you, and they would paint it on dials, watch dials, clock dials. You've seen this stuff. Okay. And what the girls would do, they have these little brushes, and they would basically make the dust using their tongue, and they would paint it like that, and then they would put numbers on the disc, and they got paid 1 penny for every disc they did. 1 penny. And there was a guy who owned the thing, made a fortune off of this. Who knew it was bad for the girls? Management. The person they hired to do the research on this, which they kept her quiet because they donated money to the college. The foreman knew it was bad because he read the report, and the woman's supervisor knew it was bad, but they didn't tell the workers. These young girls. And this story is of 3 teenage girls. One of them died a couple years for radiation poisoning. Nobody knew how. And the girls who get sick or complain about, they simply say, "You have syphilis." And the company doctor says, "You have syphilis." Turns out to be the company doctor wasn't a medical doctor at all either. He was some professor at some college. He got paid. Didn't know the difference because he didn't test them. Oh, he did the testing, but he never tested. He just says they all have syphilis. And the girl says, "No, I don't." "Oh, yes, you do. I'm a doctor. I can tell you have syphilis." One of the girls says no. But then she started getting sick. And they found one girl found the diary of her other sister getting sick. What happens is one of the things you do about this, it affects the bones in your jaws. It literally weakens your jaws, weakens your teeth, weakens your hair, the whole bit. You're literally poisoning yourself, and all the girls there did. One girl who complained, Bessie, she complained and she was a little younger sister, teenager. She complained to the. She read something, and she went over to this place and can we do something about it? They tested her sister and says, you got radiation poisoning. You're being poisoned by all this stuff, radium. And Josie, what's it goes? Josie basically says this. Her teeth start falling out. She gets one side. She started losing her jaw. The whole thing just is bloody out. And then they have to operate getting this done. But they basically, Betsy is out there screaming, this stuff is killing us, this stuff. And then they start looking at American radium around other places, other part of the country. And they're making this for the military, okay, clocks and that in war zone and watches. The company stayed around till 1970. Think about that. Even though they knew it was dangerous, and they changed the way the company stayed around before it was closed down. And one of the reasons it stayed around, somebody say, why would it stay around? Because radium on the watch dials, they glow at night. Well, that has been replaced by a little bitty LED sitting inside. Now you just deep like that. And on the walls of basically this thing, you got a little LED sitting in there, lighting it up. Any big clock, small clocks. Radium, what do they use? Some other chemical that reacts with light. But was it a big thing? Oh yeah, they proved that these girls were being poisoned. They proved that originally they said, we will give you $10,000 if you keep your mouth shut. And that's like 30,000, whatever it was. 30,000 faces in that. Girls who needed the money stayed there. Did they die? Yeah, they died. It's one of the things about Radium Girls. They basically said this. They've been buried. Somebody jokingly said, you take a Geiger counter, you find a grave, you take the Geiger counter and stick it on top of that grave. And now you're talking about basically coffins that have disintegrated, okay? And the bodies are there. The girls basically are so radioactive, even if with 6 feet of soil, the Geiger counter will react and say, yeah, it will continue to click for the next 1,000 years. I guess one of the jokes is. Yeah. Kind of like looking at the Chernobyl. The Russian soldiers who went in there to work in there. They're buried. Radiation poisoning. They buried them in the sense you're buried in a lead coffin. This is true. Yep. And the joke, of course, as I said, you take the Geiger counter, you put it on top of the grave, and there's so much radiation coming out of the body, it will click, 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 click. Ouch. Oh, well, by the way, President Putin wants to start a war. Jab, 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 jab.